Hey everybody, welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. I'm Brian.
And I'm Corbin.
And today we're at the Rural Gardens. We decided to get out of the office. We've been in there editing videos like crazy. I was working on some stuff today. I think I've got the Mr. Maple Clips channel scheduled out until March 28th. So make sure to check that channel out. We got a ton of stuff in there where we cut down some of the videos into smaller bite-sized pieces for you guys to, if you're not, you're not looking for watching a long video, you can go in there and find just a clip of that specific cultivar information. There's a lot of good content in there, so make sure to check that out. But today we were like, let's do something different. Let's get out of the office. It's kind of a cloudy day, but it's a beautiful day.
Yeah, man. I mean, today, it's something that's always, I'm excited to be talking about this, honestly, because it's something that kind of was interested in before I started getting into Japanese maples. And then afterwards, it's like, it really opens up Japanese maples. There's so many things you can do with them. You can put them in a pot. You can put them in, anywhere in your garden. And today we're going to be talking about an awesome way to keep them, and it's bonsai.
Yeah. Well, this is an awesome topic. There's like so much information already out there about bonsai, and we're not bonsai experts, but we love the idea of it and the concept of it, the look of it. It's just a really cool way to grow Japanese maples, and we think that, I think everybody is, kind of feels maybe intimidated by it. I know I am when I think of the true concept of bonsai and what it takes to have one. But we're kind of wanting to show you guys that it's not really as scary as you think, and it's not really as difficult as you think either. And, there's many ways to do it. I'm sure that, there's way more experts out there than we are, but we wanted to kind of show a little bit of what we've been doing with some bonsai ideas and just some maples that we've been playing around with.
Yeah, I mean, maybe check back in 40 years and we might be some bonsai experts, man.
That's right. Yeah, man, this is going to be really cool. So we'll start out here. So Corbin has been getting into bonsai. We're always like scouring the greenhouses looking for potential bonsai candidates to mess around with. But lately, he's picked out a couple things that I think really turned out nice. Right away, grab your little lace leaf here. So just right here, we've got a couple of little plants that he's put in some bonsai pots. And this is kind of an example of what you can do right away. I mean, if you get a 1 gallon pot plant from Mr. Maple, there is ways to make this create a bonsai shape and concept right away, just when you get it from the nursery.
Yeah, that's the thing, man, is pre-bonsai is almost, I mean, I won't say it's as rewarding as bonsai, but you can definitely get that look that you're looking for in a bonsai relatively early on in the age of the plant. And yeah, it may be a little intimidating, but it always just I think the most important thing with bonsai, just with any kind of Japanese maple, is going out and doing it, because the earlier you do it, the more you get to reap those benefits.
Absolutely. And the more you learn. It's all about experiences, and sometimes it takes getting in there and actually doing it to start feeling comfortable with it.
Definitely.
And so what do you have there in your pot?
So this is actually my very first plant that I ever got whenever I first started working at Mr. Maple, and this is Hanamatoi, Acer palmatum. Beautiful lace leaf, variegated lace leaf with some awesome growth habits as well.
Yeah, and he's gotten a little farther than I have. He's starting to get into the wiring process and all that, just kind of getting his shape, which I think is just really cool to be able to kind of in your mind just think about how you want that tree to look and create that shape with the wiring and all of that. And I believe what we have here is a Cedrus Solanica aria. Yeah, and so we have an example here of a deciduous Japanese maple in a bonsai. We've got an evergreen conifer in a bonsai. So I think, it just gives two perfect examples of what you can do with young plants right away and kind of get that instant gratification. Like we all want that instant gratification. We all don't have, 40 years to have an amazing bonsai. But we love just thinking about this concept. And so there's a couple of examples here, and we'll get some shots of these here in a little bit, get some close-ups. And then behind us here, I've got a little bit of a collection that I've kind of started. You know, a lot of gardens, you know, people may have a smaller space. You may even be somewhere where you can't plant maples in the ground. So for me, you know, I've grown some in larger pots, but I never really attempted the bonsai. So I started getting into that idea, and I've got a couple cool ones here. Grab that one right there, Corbin, the little guy, and I'll grab this one right here. So right here I've got an Acer japonicum green cascade. Now I'm kind of like outside the box. A lot of people are looking at like the smallest leaf maple they can go with, but I thought it would be amazing to see a larger japonicum leaf, dissect them in a bonsai. I've got a really nice nabari system here with the roots, and just a really cool shape early on. Like, you know, I think this was in a 3-gallon when I got it, and I was able to kind of dig down and expose some of this root system here, and I thought it turned out really cool. But again, instantly, you know, straight from a 3-gallon pot into a bonsai pot, and
thing's looking killer.
It looks pretty amazing. Like, I really enjoy the shape of this one, and so, you know, I love the idea that you can take it straight from the nursery and turn it into something like this pretty instantly.
And I think that's part of it too, is like being able to work with what nature gave you already.
Right.
And building a piece of art with nature is really the appeal of bonsai, and that's the beauty of it. Is like no one tree is going to be the same.
Yeah. I think, you know, and the way to kind of think about it too is there's a lot of techniques, different techniques for bonsai, a lot of shaping and wiring that you can do. But you can also just straight away find one that has a very natural bonsai shape or look to it and put it in a bonsai pot, and you kind of immediately get that look that you're going for. So I think it's just very accessible to a lot of people. They don't really know that it's really that easy. I mean, obviously there's more and more advanced techniques, and the longer you have it, the care and all of it that it takes, there's a lot to it. But right away, you can enjoy these trees in a very cool way. Definitely. So what you've got right there, yeah, we've got in a very, very small pot, we have another Acer japonicum. This is Acer japonicum Ed Wood. So this is it's going to have a very large leaf on it, but I was really wanting to play around with it in a very, very small pot and have these large leaves hanging off of it and keeping it pruned back. But I just think it looks absolutely amazing. Something I really enjoy is that miniature work.
Definitely. That's what I was just working at. Everybody at work, I brought it in to show it off a little bit, but I just purchased a Tom Thumb from the nursery. And at first, I'm going to be honest, I wanted it for myself after I put it in the pot, but it was going to be a gift for my grandmother. And the miniature bonsai honestly just opened up like a very interesting look, because I mean the whole point of bonsai is to get that miniature tree feeling. And some trees really, as soon as you put them in the pot, they light up, and it's like they're already at that stage.
Absolutely.
Now I know that a lot of bonsai purists they wouldn't even call that a bonsai, maybe even a pre-bonsai, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
But that's the beauty of it, is like you put this thing in a pot and it really does change the look and the feel of the tree, honestly.
And I think there's a very like artistic approach to a lot of it. So like, you know, there might be some paintings out there that somebody says that's beautiful art, but to you it may not be. You're right. And so everybody has their own opinion on what a bonsai is or what it should look like. But I'm the artist, and you're the artist, and you're the artist. So what you see and what you create is your own creation, you know, and so everybody can have that liberty to kind of express themselves artistically through bonsai. And in my opinion, I think it's a very special way, because I love Japanese maples, and so bonsai is like the perfect canvas, I think, for, you know, just showcasing all the unique characteristics of a Japanese maple in a very unique display. You know, how you have it potted, the type of pot you put it in, you know, how you prune it and shape it, what cultivar you pick. Everything about it is unique to you, and so you kind of get to personalize each bonsai into your own creation.
Oh, definitely. And that's what I was thinking too, is it's like trees are interesting because they tell their own stories every single time. You know, you can tell where a branch snapped off, or
Right.
where, you know, maybe the tree didn't get enough sun. And in bonsai, it's like you get to write that story with the tree, which is kind of pretty awesome, honestly.
It is pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome. So yeah, man, so I have a couple other ones here, and just to kind of give another display of that. So this is Acer palmatum Lima Gold, which make a beautiful dwarf tree shape very naturally. I haven't done any pruning on this. I may do some pruning on it just to kind of open up some of this interior and shape it a little bit. But this was one that we had at the nursery that had a limb had been broken from it, and so it wasn't one that we were going to sell. And so, but because it had a very unique characteristic and some scarring here, I thought it was going to make a great bonsai, because it gives it some extra character. It gives it a very natural feeling, as if it was a large mature tree that had maybe suffered a lightning strike or some kind of damage. Very natural that you would see a tree with a scar like this and a missing branch. So for me, it was really cool to take that and decide, hey, if I put that in a bonsai pot, that's going to look really nice.
Honestly, yeah, and that's what I think there's a lot of beauty in the trees like that, because, I mean, all of our trees, or not, I wouldn't say all of our trees, but a lot of our trees are grafted. And, you know, like I'm saying, there are people who air layer trees to remove that grafted part and start their tree off in a different spot. But I think that sometimes that graft mark does give a nice characteristic to the tree. I mean, you're going to get that fat trunk,
right.
And then sometimes even that little bit of coning in there, and it really does give the tree a lot of personality, I believe.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and every tree is going to be a little bit different. So, I mean, there's just so many different ways to showcase each cultivar and each tree. And, you know, like you said, even if grafted form of a Japanese maple can make a beautiful bonsai, and just really a unique way to have these. You know, I've got a little setup here on my deck where I've got a little platform, little shelf system, where when I'm sitting out here on the deck, I can sit back and enjoy these maples up close. And I really enjoy that part of it. You know, I've got a bunch planted out in my backyard, but I get to be right up close and personal with these every day. And so that's kind of why we wanted to make this video. We wanted to talk to you guys about just how easy it can be to enjoy the concept of bonsai and approaching it in a way where it's not so intimidating, or you feel like you have to follow all of these rules and all of these like specific ways that you have to do one way or the other. There are many ways to do it, and so we wanted to showcase that a little bit today.
Yeah, man, I mean, the versatility of a Japanese maple really is so amazing, and that really is highlighted by putting them in a bonsai and beginning that process. Now, Brian and I were talking about, there are 400-year-old trees, and there are some bonsais that might even be 100 to 200 years old, you know? And that's something that's awesome. It's like being able to have that multi-generational tree, building that multi-generational story with a tree, and also being able to enjoy the beauty of it.
Yeah, and recently you've presented some of these bonsai as gifts.
Definitely.
And I love that idea, because it's a really cool way. Like I said, a lot of people don't have a garden maybe that they can plant into, or, you know, they just don't have access to that, but you could present that in a way where they can keep it in that nice little pot It's not going to get too big because
Right.
it's going to be constrained in that pot, and they can enjoy that for many, many years as a gift that you've given them. So I love that idea. And I think there's so many ways that, you know, Japanese maples can be grown. That's what's great about that is, I mean, they're very adaptable. So, I mean, they can be adapted to a small bonsai pot, a nice ceramic container, or planted in the ground out in the landscape. That, you know, they're just great plants for all of those different kind of scenarios. So it's really cool that they're that versatile that you can, you know, share it in so many different ways.
All right, guys, so we were talking about how easy bonsai is, and it really is. You don't need too many things. You just need a bonsai pot, and that could either be a specialized one with lots of drainage in the bottom and wire holes, or just finding anything that will really has that shallow system for those roots to start developing in.
Yeah, I mean, and so recently I had went up to Asheville and found this little cool little shop that was selling some bonsai supplies. They had some wire, they had the soil and the rock, and I mean the whole deal, the pots and everything. And that's where originally I had picked up some to kind of experiment with. I told Corbin about it, and yeah,
Here's a little pot.
Little pot right here. I mean, just nice little natural stone look to it. I mean, and they have all different kinds of styles. You want to make sure that it has plenty of drainage. You can see it's got 2 holes here, a few small holes for your wiring. But it doesn't really take a lot, and it's not a huge expense. I mean, this was like 20 bucks for the pot, a couple of bags of soil, you know, and maybe a spool of wire if you really want to get into it that far. But yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot, does it?
It really doesn't. And that's kind of the appeal to me too, is, you know, there are definitely sometimes you have to know when to do stuff,
Right.
But there's not really too high of a barrier to entry for bonsais, which is pretty nice, honestly.
Yeah, and it's starting out with, say, like a 1 gallon maple from MrMaple. It's really easy because there's not a lot of root pruning that has to be done. You're only in a small 1 gallon pot to begin with. So, you know, obviously you want to try to make sure you wait until the plant is dormant, where it's lost its leaves during the winter, to do any like root pruning or messing with the root system at all. You know, in order to fit it in that small pot, you're going to have to kind of tease those roots out and get those roots to be able to lay flatter down into the pot and remove some of that soil.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. Like I was saying at the beginning, really getting started early is going to be very vital to having some really nice trees that you can enjoy later on too.
Yeah.
And that's what I sit and think too, is it's like sometimes Japanese maples are slower growing even in the ground, and that's multiplied a lot by the pot.
Right.
So you will have to be patient, and I know that's a big part of it, and that's why I like the pre-bonsai a little bit more too, because you kind of get that feel of the bonsai before you've even really started the process.
The more you try it, the more you learn. So you know, life is all about experience. So the more you try it and actually attempt it, you may have some failed experiences, but you learned a lot from that. And so the next time you try a bonsai on a particular plant, you're going to be able to draw from the experiences you had before, and you're going to know a lot more of how to approach it. So yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. That's why I love it, and I think that's why you guys should try it, like we have, and just, you know, and pick a plant, and it could be any plant. You know, it's not just limited to maples or conifers. I mean, I've seen some amazing bonsai of azaleas and different, even herbs and things like. I mean, there's some crazy stuff out there that you can bonsai with.
Some of the coolest things I've seen are plants that actually have fruiting on them.
Right.
Like there are some miniature pomegranate bonsais, and that really is the beauty of it. It is about connecting with that tree, you know, learning how it grows and what it needs, and really just making whatever you want out of it.
Well, guys, we really hope that you've enjoyed this video today. You know, we decided to get out of the office, get out here, get some fresh air, and kind of talk about something different. You know, something that we're both interested in. Like every day at work, we're talking about bonsai, and so we're always chewing it up on that, trying to think of new ideas and different plants that we can use. So we wanted to share it with you guys. And like I said, we're not bonsai experts, but we enjoy the concept of it, and we approach it in a very, you know, open-minded way. And I think a lot of people out there can relate to that and maybe feel a little more freedom to experiment with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I'm already starting to get that addiction to maples, man. And then now that I'm starting to do some bonsais with the conifers, I really see the appeal of those. But yeah, just make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
We drop videos every day at 9 a.m. in the morning. Make sure to check out that live chat. Tell us how your week's been going, what kind of maples you guys are enjoying.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we can bring some more of this bonsai content out. Maybe show you guys how to pot them up, do a little bit of rooting and pruning.
Right, yeah, absolutely. We're going to kind of continue this concept and maybe this series. And, you know, if you guys have any bonsais of your own or things that you're doing, share it with the MrMaple Friends group on Facebook. It'd be cool to see some pictures, and we can all kind of jump in and kind of have conversations about little projects you're working on, any bonsais you have. It's a really good way to connect with people there. But yeah, we appreciate everybody watching today. Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.